Yeah, I mean, I just feel so honored to be going toe to toe with these amazing actors that are so accomplished and so amazing and talented that just to be able to play with them and go toe to toe with them on the day is like a dream come true. And seeing these words that I wrote with my best friend on a couch, it's like, seeing my actors that I looked up to when I was a kid. Like I remember watching him in movies as a child, and now he's saying words that I wrote on my couch. He's not that much older.
So I saw in an interview with Variety that you said you wanted to kind of change the focus because a lot of like coming of age queer films, like the whole message is like being queer is okay. So like why did you want like a different tone for this film?
Well, first of all, I love those movies, and I think Love Simon and all those films that like started these conversations, and these films are so important and incredible. But now I feel like we did that. So what's next? Where can we take these characters and these types of characters with these genres and constantly just evolving and changing? And I think it's a testament to where we are as a culture and a society of like we're growing, and we don't need to just tell stories about just coming out,
Like what drew you to this film initially?
The script. I thought the script was really wild and outrageous, and it also had sort of a strange little beating heart underneath it, and that was really appealing to me.
And I hear other ones like Lukas or like based on other experiences. So like, do you have any advice for filmmakers on getting personal with your work? All right, you ready for your film?
Yeah, it's hard. It's hard because you open yourself up to, bonding is highly fictionalized, but you ultimately open yourself up to conversations about who you are and how you tell your story. But those conversations end up being vital and important, and ultimately that is what film is for.
Yeah, and I also know like a lot of creatives like base stuff off of their own life experience.
Yeah.
So like how do you choose like what life moments to expand on like through film?
I'll never do it again.
Never? Why do you think?
But even this, which I didn't write, ultimately I brought a lot of myself to it. You can't help but bring yourself to your work. I wouldn't know why else to do it. You might as well just, put it through a factory then. So ultimately this movie is very, very personal to me too.
And I saw in an article that you suggested that Gary and Cameron like toned down some of the things too. Like why do you think that was like the overall theme of the movie?
Well, ultimately we toned down some things and then we toned some other things, and it was really just about telling the clearest story and finding a path for them. I think a lot of times very provocative and outrageous things are really fun to watch, but if they don't connect to a real life story, then ultimately they're not really worth it.
This is your first like feature film debut, right? So how do you feel about that?
I feel excited. Like you shoot a film, and then there's a span of a year that goes by before you ever get to see or hear anything from it. So there has been a build-up, I would say.
Yeah.
So yeah, excited.
What are you most looking forward to like after its release?
After its release,
Yeah.
to see where it goes. I want to hear what the fans think, how it's received, and just to keep working.
I know like you've played other roles, like more serious ones, like in Law and Order. Mm-hmm. So like, how was that tonal change like for like a comedy film?
Oh wow, it's really different, to be honest, and also the working in TV and film, it's just the pace of it is very different. So I like them both equally. They both have its benefits and its not benefits. I think just it's different features. So different experience, but this was a joy to work on.
Yeah. And do you have like a favorite on set moment or memory?
Yeah, the first one that comes to mind was probably my first day on a film set ever, and we're in the middle of a take, and I forgot one of my props, and Zachary Quinto, just with his eye line, literally just told me just like, and so that moment, like that private moment, was a big feature. Just to work with someone that I've admired for so long, and have that sort of sensitive, nuanced help from him. It was great. I loved that moment. Yeah.
Like overall, like how did you come up with like the music for this film? Like what inspiration?
It was sort of a long process, and we went through a lot of different ideas, auditioning stuff, and then we landed on a sort of interesting combination of vocals, woodwinds, and percussion. And that orchestration lends itself to sort of comic feeling. I think it works well. It keeps the pace moving fast.
And do you have like any other big inspirations like from other films?
On this one, not really. We listen to a lot of Khachaturian ballets, although it really departed from that originally. I think a lot of times we'll start with a classical music reference and realize that it works perfectly for ballet, but not for a comedy. And then we start using different instruments. And we wanted to use sort of small handheld percussion, weird recorders. I don't know, just stuff you'd find in like your music cover.